window outside is a man who walks with a woman resembling Scrooge's old love, Belle.
Well, you would not believe who resides there.
I could not guess.
An old friend of yours.
Scrooge.
It is said he is shut up there, with just the candle in the window keeping light on him. His partner lies at death's door, and, quiet to the world, Scrooge sits by his side.
My poor old love.
Spirit, remove me from this place.
I told you there were shadows of the things that have been, that they are what they are. Do not blame me.
Remove me, I cannot bear it. Leave me, take me back, haunt me no longer.
With that, the spirit brought Scrooge back to his flat and his bed and departed from him. Scrooge lay in the bed, unsure of what's just happened, but being quite affected by it. Scrooge checks the clock, and it only seems to have gone by 30 minutes since he departed with the spirit. Scrooge lies and falls into a slight sleep until he is awoken by the clock again. This time with 2 strokes of a chime. As Scrooge sits, unsure of what will happen, a bright light shone in the room as a figure appears in green and white coat, and a wreath on her head with 3 candles coming out of it.
Come in! Come in and know me better, man. I am the ghost of Christmas present. Look upon me, man. You've never seen the likes of me before.
Never.
Have never walked forth with the young members of my family? For I am very young. My older brother's born in these later years.
I don't think I have. I am afraid I have not. Have you had many brothers, Spirit?
Allow me a moment to think. More than 1,800.
Tremendous family to provide for. Spirit, conduct me where you will. I went forth last night on compulsion, and I learned a lesson which is working now. Tonight, if you have aught to teach me, let me profit by it.
Come with me as we walk into the present day and see people who spend Christmas joyfully.
Did you say walk or fly?
Touch my robe.
With that, the spirit and Scrooge walk into the streets of London on Christmas Day. The snow is light and brisk, and people are walking around without a care in the world. As people walk in and out of the grocer's, the spirit takes out a horn and sprinkles seemingly powder on top of select people's food.
Is there a peculiar flavor in what you sprinkle from your horn?
It is my own.
Would it apply to any kind of dinner on this day?
To any kindly given, to a poor man most.
Why to a poor one most?
Because it needs it most.
Spirit, I wonder that you of all the beings in the many worlds about us should desire to cramp these people's opportunities of innocent enjoyment.
I
Deprive them of their means of dining every 7th day, often the only day on which they can be said to dine at all, wouldn't you? These places on the 7th day, and it comes to the same thing.
I seek.
Forgive me if I am wrong. It has been done in your name, or at least in that of your family.
There are some upon this earth of yours who lay claim to know, and who do their deeds of passion, pride, ill will, bigotry, racism, sexism, and selfishness in our name, and who are strange to us as all of our kith and kin, as if they have never lived. Remember that, and charge their doings on themselves, not us.
The spirit moves Scrooge forward to a small little cottage.
What are we doing here?
It's Christmas here too. Who do you think we find ourselves here?
The name on the door says Cratchit. That's my clerk.
Then that is why.
Scrooge looks through the window and sees Mrs. Cratchit cooking in the kitchen, with Linda and Nancy helping her, and Peter setting the table.
My dears, don't put too much seasoning on that turkey. We don't have much left.
Yes, Mother.
Mother, I think this turkey is much bigger than last year.
Oh, that's good to hear. With the amount of money your father makes, I was happy he was even able to pay for the items I needed this year.
Why doesn't that old Scrooge pay Dad more?
Oh, it's very simple. Scrooge is an old miser and wants all the money for himself and won't give your father a raise at all. Sometimes that's Scrooge. Oh, I just want to.
Suddenly, Mrs. Cratchit hears singing coming down the street and recognizes it as the only thing she can imagine it is.
That would be your father. Nancy, hide. He doesn't know you arrived today.
As Peter and Linda hide Nancy in the pantry closet, Bob, with Tiny Tim on his back, dance down the street while singing a Christmas carol. Bob opens the door and comes in and lets
And
Tiny
God
Tim
bless
down.
you a merry, merry day. We're home.
Hi, Mother.
Hello, Bob. How was the service?
Beautiful. I wish you could have been there.
Well, it was hopefully enough that you and Tim were there. Dinner is almost ready.
Wonderful, wonderful. Peter and Linda, give me a hug. Where's Nancy?
Not coming.
Not coming. Not coming for Christmas Day.
Suddenly, Nancy jumps out and surprises Bob, who gives him a big hug.
Oh, and how did little Tim behave?
As good as gold and better. Somehow he gets thoughtful, sitting by himself so much, and thinks the strangest things you ever heard. He told me, coming home, that he hoped the people saw him in church because he was a cripple, and it might be pleasant to them to remember upon Christmas Day who made lame beggars walk and blind men see.
That's our boy.
Yeah.
Well, let's get some seats and get ready for dinner.
Let's make sure we say a prayer. A Merry Christmas to us all, my dears. God bless us.
God bless us, everyone.
Spirit, tell me if Tiny Tim will live.
I see a vacant seat in the poor chimney corner and a crutch without an owner, carefully preserved. If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, the child will not see another Christmas.
No. Oh, no, kind spirit, say he'll be spared.
If these shadows remain unaltered by the future, none of my race will find him here. But what of it? If he be like to die, he had better do it and decrease the surplus population. Isn't that right, Scrooge?
Spirit.
Man, if a man you be in heart, not adamant, forbear that wicked cannot until you have discovered what the surplus is and where it is. Will you decide what men shall live? What men shall die? It may be that. In the sight of heaven, you are more worthless and less fit to live than millions like this poor man's child. Oh God, to hear the insect on the leaf pronouncing on the too much life among us hungry brothers in the dust.
Let us toast to Mr. Scrooge, the founder of the feast.
Oh, the founder of the feast, indeed. I wish I had him here. I'd give him a piece of my mind to feast upon, and I bet he'd have a great appetite for it and choke on it.
My dear, the children, Christmas Day.
It should be Christmas Day, I am sure, on which one drinks the health of such an odious, stingy, hard, unfeeling man as Mr. Scrooge. You know he is, Robert. No one knows it better than you, poor fellow.
My dear.
I'll drink to his health for your sake and the day's, but not to his. Long life to him, a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. He'll be very merry and very happy, I have no doubt.
Mr. Scrooge.
Scrooge, we must go.
Must we?
We have much more to see.
Scrooge is literally dragged away from the window as he's grown close to the family and is brought across London to a flat where his nephew Fred and his fiancée and friends are celebrating Christmas.
I swear he called Christmas a humbug, as I live. He believes it, too.
More shame for him, Fred.
He's a comical old fellow, that's the truth. And not so pleasant as he might be. However, his offences carry their own punishment, and I have nothing to say against him.
Well, I'm sure he's very rich, Fred. At least you always tell me so.
What of that, my dear? His wealth is of no use to him. He doesn't do any good with it. He doesn't make himself comfortable with it. He hasn't the satisfaction of thinking he's ever going to benefit us with it.
I have no patience for him.
Oh, I have. I am sorry for him. I couldn't be angry with him if I tried. Who suffers by his ill winds? Himself, always. Here he takes it into his head to dislike us, and won't come and dine with us. What's the consequence? He doesn't lose much of a dinner.
Indeed, I think he loses a very good dinner.
Well, I'm very glad to hear it, because I haven't any great faith in these young housekeepers.
Do go on, Fred. He never finishes what he begins to say. Such a ridiculous fellow.
I was only going to say that the consequence of him taking a dislike to us and not making merry with us is, as I think, that he loses some pleasant moments which could do him no harm. I am sure he loses pleasanter companions than he can find in his own thoughts. Either his mouldy old study or his dusty chambers. I mean to give him the same chance every year, whether he likes it or not. I pity him. He may rail at Christmas till he dies, but he can't help thinking better of it. I defy him if he sees me going there in good temper year after year and saying, "Uncle Scrooge, how are you?"
Good work.
If it puts him in the vein to leave his poor clerk £50, that's something. And I think I shook him yesterday. Anyway, I say a toast to Uncle Scrooge, as he has given us plenty of merriment, I am sure, and it would be ungrateful not to drink to his health. Here's a glass of mulled wine, ready to our hand at the moment. I say to Uncle Scrooge.
To Uncle Scrooge.
Scrooge.
A Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year to the old man, wherever he is.
The music increases in the room as Fred and Bess begin to dance together. As Scrooge looks on, he begins to dance along until the spirit stops him.
We must move on.
Please, allow me to stay for a little longer. I love this music.
Don't be a fool, man. You don't like Christmas.
I love Christmas.
Let's go, Scrooge. My time runs short.
Scrooge notices that the spirit's hair has gone to gray, and the spirit appears to be more feeble than once meeting her.
A spirit's life so short?
My life upon this very globe ends tonight.
Tonight?
Tonight as the chime is heard.
Forgive me if I am not justified in what I ask, but I see something strange and not belonging to yourself protruding from your skirt. Is it a foot or a claw?
It might be a claw, for the flesh upon it, look here, 2 children, frightful and hideous.
Yours?
They are man's, and they cling to me, appealing from their fathers. The boy is ignorance, and the girl is want. Beware of them both, and of all their degree, but most of all, beware this boy. For on his brow I see that written, which is doom, unless the writing be erased. Deny it. Slander those who tell it ye. Admit it for your facetious purposes, and make it worse. And bide the end.
Have they no refuge or resources?
Are there no prisons? Are there no workhouses?
Spirit, mock me with my own words.
You said them.
Don't leave me, Spirit.
Your next apparition is close. Go forth and know him better, man.
With those last words, the spirit disappears, and Scrooge is alone in a graveyard. Soon, he hears the chimes.